In other news from around the world, the fate of a woman arrested in Iran for standing outside her university in her underwear is still unknown. A video that has widely circulated on social media shows her being forced into a car 2 days ago by a group of men. Now, Amnesty International says she's in custody after being violently arrested and is calling for her immediate and unconditional release. Cami Knight with the story.
This video circulating on social media shows a female student stripped to her underwear outside her university in Tehran. Another video shows her walking down the street, still undressed, before a group of men surround her and force her into a car. Amnesty says she was violently arrested after she protested the abusive enforcement of the dress code at her university and has called for her release.
Authorities must protect her from torture and other ill treatment and ensure access to her family and a lawyer. Allegations of beatings and sexual violence against her during arrest need independent and impartial investigations. Those responsible must be held to account.
There's a lot of speculation over the circumstances behind the incident. The university says she suffers from mental health issues, but a student social media channel claims she'd previously been harassed by security forces inside the university's grounds. Iranian women can be subjected to harsh punishment over the country's strict dress code, even for minor infractions. Growing numbers of women have defied authorities by discarding their headscarves after nationwide protests that followed the death of Mahsa Amini in 2022. On the anniversary of her death, Iran's new president said the morality police should no longer be confronting women on the street. This just days after the UN said state authorities had expanded repressive measures to further deprive women and girls of their fundamental rights.
And for more on this story, we welcome human rights researcher and writer Azadeh Porzand to the program. She is also the director of the Human Rights Coalition Impact Iran. Thank you so much for being on the program with us today. I want to start just by asking you what your reaction was when you first saw this video and what you're hearing from other women inside Iran.
Yes, thank you for having me. My first and immediate reaction was just looking at the photo and the video in awe and just really hoping that she's going to be okay and just trying to imagine the level of violence that quite a violent government like the Islamic Republic of Iran is going to exert against her. My second reaction was that she's very brave and truly a hero. And the third, more sort of a researcher reaction was, where is she now? And I think, there's some speculation and statements that she's in custody, as you also said. It seems that she's institutionalized in a mental hospital, but there are still ambiguities around the details of her case, what is going on with her. That we fear that she's at the risk of essentially what amounts to torture, in an institution like a mental hospital, given the pattern of abuses of the Islamic Republic against women who do acts of defiance of the compulsory veil, and also generally some political prisoners. So as you can imagine, the human rights community is extremely worried, and so are the people, as I see on social media, about her situation.
Now, as we heard in the report a few minutes ago from my colleague, on the anniversary of Mahsa Amini's death, Iran's new president did say that the morality police shouldn't be confronting women on the street like this anymore, but that obviously isn't happening.
Correct. And I think those of us who follow Iran quite closely, we do not really pause or take seriously, the statements of the president of the Islamic Republic, given anyways the limited power that constitutionally this person has and the lack of basically honesty in their campaigns. But I also think that these kinds of statements that the Islamic Republic seems to, regularly sort of make has also a international consumption. So that, sort of sending confusing messaging to the world, and hoping that, for example, places like the United Nations would basically they buy time so that they are not frowned upon for the level of violence and atrocities against women and the Iranian public at large.
Azadeh Porzan, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us about this story here on France 24.
Thank you.